Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Dylan, and I played branded Bystial today at a local tournament with 50 people. It was 6 rounds. I went 4-1-1. I won against Sprite, Kashtira, Plunder, and Sword Soul. I 2-0'd all of them. My one tie was against Kashtira Adventure. I won game 1, he won game 2. Game 3 didn't allow us to go into because of time, so we just called it a tie at that point. And then my one loss was against Madolce. I was not prepared for Madolce. That threw me off. He won the dice roll too and put up a pretty nasty board, and I had like no interruptions to stop that. Other than that, I am actually recording this video by myself. None of my friends were able to come today. I went to the tournament by myself. And I will just pan down to the deck profile. Alright, so let's get into the deck list, shall we? We'll move those off to the side, and we will start with the monsters. I am going to start with my Bystial count. Triple Lubellion. I feel like this is non-negotiable unless, you can't afford 3. It's just too good to search into Sarnir for your plays. If you open this plus Albert, it's your absolute best combo line, going to Rinbrum all the way to Mirror Jade with Granguinol and such. So, and then putting Lubellion on the field with the Branded Regain, Branded Beast potentially. It's just too good of a card. I feel like you have to play this at 3. Along with that, you need to be playing triple Sarnir. Sarnir, when it's sent to the graveyard, you can force it into the graveyard as well. Whenever it's sent, you can send a Retribution or a white to the graveyard, which then eventually you'll get through your combo line. I'll explain that later. And on top of that, I play 1 Magnuma as an extender if I don't draw into those 2, and also a Druis Worm. Druis Worm, I almost didn't put into the deck and took out Beast, but it's really good. Being able to recur this with regains into the Beast, popping a card, and then this leaving the field to essentially pop another card, it's just really good. Double pop, bring it right back. That explains that. And then we'll get into the Branded and Despia monsters. We have triple Aluber and triple Fallen of Albaz. Some people are running 2 Albaz, but I think that's wrong ratio this format. With Kashtira banishing stuff, and the fact that I also use 3 Albazes for grind game constantly and recurring it with Regained or with Fusion Lubellion, it's needed. You don't want that to go away. That's like your main card of the whole deck to get everything going off. On that, we have 2 Mercurier. 2 Mercurier is absolutely needed. I think 3 is too many, 1 is not enough. 2 is perfect because 1 you can use off of adding it with Branded and Lost, Branded Lost. And then the other one is used to be banished to add Cartesia. I only run 1 Cartesia. I think 2 is too many right now. I think once the new support comes out with the Synchros, 2 or 3 is going to be where we're going to be at. But right now, 1 is just enough. It recurs from the graveyard every single turn at the end phase. I feel like there's no need for 2. Unless you're maybe playing Fusion Deployment, but I am not. 1 Tragedy, 1 Dramaturge. I almost did not play these, alright? I did a lot of testing this past week and the last week, and I did a lot of ratios with hand calculators, and I decided to play Tragedy and Dramaturge, and I am not playing Ab Libitum. That is, I feel like a personal choice. I don't think it is absolutely needed to run Ab Libitum. It is a great card, and I recognize that if somebody wants to play it, by all means, play it. It is amazing. But I did not need it. Dramaturge is needed because almost every single deck, fusions, XYZs, synchros, or links, and you can negate their effect. I'm playing 1 Albion. Albion is absolutely needed for the combo line with Retribution and Branded and White, which I will explain a little bit later. And for my hand traps, I am running triple Nibiru. Triple Nibiru is non-negotiable. Triple Nibiru is the best card in the format. It stops Sword Soul, it stops Branded. If you time it right, it stops Kashtira. It just stops all the best decks. Everything summons past 5 and then can't stop it. It's just great. If you're not playing 3, don't play the game at all. We have, for the spells, triple Branded Fusion and triple Opening. These are non-negotiable. Everyone should know what these do if you're watching this video. We have Branded in Red, only at 1. Some people are running 2. I feel like I only needed 1. I never really needed to. I never needed to search to. One's fine. Branded in White. Branded in White is a really good card. Branded in White is almost the MVP card of the entire deck. You make a play with Retribution in the graveyard to add this to hand. How you end up with them in the graveyard is Saronir and Albion. Alright? Aside from that, we got Branded Lost and Branded Regained. Branded Lost is a really great card because it stops your fusion summons from being negated, as well as adding a Mercurier to your hand. And then Branded Regained is a really good card because of my Bystial count, and as well as just simply whenever a light or dark is banished, you can put it back in the deck and draw a card. That recursion is great. You can recycle something from your own that you banished. And then with the Druis Worm, whenever your opponent normally special summons a monster, you can bring back Druis Worm. And then if you have Beast on the field as well, and you should, then you get the double pot. And then we have Triple Alert Darkness for the case that you draw into Mercurier and Tragedy, as well as an extender if you have a really bad hand. I never really had a bad hand. I drew really well today. I didn't brick whatsoever, and I never needed to use Allure of Darkness, but I probably did a couple times. Alright, this is a debatable card. Super Polymerization. I ran 2 of them as board breakers because I was going to locals. Alright. If we're going to a YCS or a regionals, I probably would not run this card, and I would run 42. Just so you know, my deck list is 44 cards. If I went to a YCS or regionals, I would probably run the exact same deck without these. But because it's locals and there's a lot of random stuff there, this was a really good board breaker. It helped me. And even if you don't break their board, and you somehow manage to get interrupted and not being able to OTK, but you have this, you could potentially OTK as this is an extender. And also, it's an easy side out card, depending on what you're playing against. And for the last spell, I'm only playing 1 Foolish Burial, obviously because you can't run more than 1. But Foolish Burial is really good at sending Tragedy to the graveyard and then searching a Luber and then getting into your fusion plays. For the traps, I have Triple Imperm. Triple Imperm was a really good decision. I used it quite often today. I think everyone should run Imperm. If you're having a tough decision between Imperm and Ash, I feel like Imperm is the better card this format. And if you really need Ash, I guess you could side it if you're scared against branded decks. And then for last, we have the Retribution. Retribution is great, hard drawing it or sending it to the graveyard. Preferring to sending it to the graveyard because you can get your Branded and White play off. But if you draw it, sometimes if you already have Branded White and you can search it and just put it right in your hand. If you have a Luber, Branded White, and Branded Fusion, then you just add this instead, or whatever the case is, depending on what your hand is. Really good card. And then Branded Beast. Branded Beast, great card. Put this face up on the field with Lubellion, and then pop a Bystial, pop a card on your opponent's side of the field. We'll start with the extra deck. We're playing 1 Rinbrum and 1 Grangwinol. These 2 cards, amazing cards. Some people run 2 Rinbrum. I do not. Some people run 2 Grangwinol. I do not. Not right now, at least. Not until the new support comes out. And then if you're afraid of Diabolos banishing one of these, I wouldn't be too afraid because you can still go down other combo lines. They're great. They're the main combo line. They're amazing. If they get banished, you'll live. We have 1 Lubellion. I did not run 2, didn't need to. You can recur it, you can bring it back with itself and making the Mirror Jade. If you get interrupted and you don't bring it back and you somehow end up with Retribution, you can bring it back. Or you can bring it back with Regained. Depending on, if it was banished or not. Then we have 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Albion. 2 Albion is non-negotiable. You have to run 2. Some people run 3, I've seen, which is, I just don't think that's needed. But 2 is good. 2 is where you want to be at. Sending it to the graveyard and setting the Branded Red at the end phase, amazing. And then, let's say you already have the Branded Red. Then you can set Retribution, or you can set whatever you need, Branded Beast. Titaniclad. Titaniclad is great just for getting over big boss monsters that you're having trouble with. You can make it up to 3,700. Good card. Abolinitis. Some people are saying not to run Abolinitis. One time I had to discard it off of Mirror Jade to get a search for Branded Fusion, which led me to winning the game. That was really good because both of my Albions were already in the graveyard for grind game. That was a great string. And also, it's the only Contact Fusion in the extra deck where if you normal summon Albaz, you can Contact Fuse with the Albaz with any dragon on the field. One Masquerade. Because I'm only running one Branded in red, I feel like one Masquerade was good. I never needed two. I'm also running one Kiartis. I made Kiartis via Granguinal and also via Branded in red. This card was amazing. Just being able to make your opponent's attack 0 and then attacking over for OTK it's great. And then for Super Poly targets, we're playing Mud Dragon, Garura, and Dragostapelia. Obvious reasons, we've seen these cards in the past for a long time. They're great cards. I feel like if you're playing Super Poly, you need to play these. Oh, and I'm not playing Proskinian. Proskinian is a great card, but the chances of the situation of you having to make it to win a game is just, it's not there for me to warrant me putting it in there. And then lastly, we have Guardian Chimera. Guardian Chimera, branded red target, popping 2 cards on the field or popping 1 card, draw 2, whatever the case is. It's just great. As for the side deck, we're running Triple Lancia to stop Kashtira and Flow from doing anything. We have Harpy's Feather Duster and Twin Twister. Twin Twister is better than Cyclone, I feel like, in this deck. I am not afraid of Beat Cop protecting a field spell anymore, so there's no point of like trying to get under a Beat Cop. And with Cartesia recurring back to your hand almost every single turn at the end phase, you're always going to have discard fodder for this. And then Runic is still a decent deck out there. Being able to put up Floodgates and Fountain being a massive recursion for their deck. Being able to pop a Floodgate and a Fountain at the same time, it's great. We have Triple Book of Eclipse for Kashtira and whatever you decide to side that against as well. I sided against Kashtira. I used it once. I won a game with it. Then we have Evenly Matched. This is my going second card of choice. I used it once against the Plunder deck, and the guy had never seen Evenly Matched before, supposedly, or he was playing dumb. I evenly matched him and then proceeded to OTK him the following turn. And then my going first card of choice is Dimensional Barrier. So many decks get hurt by this card. It's just such a good card going first, and that is my deck. I'm not going to show any combo lines because this video is already long enough. I could make a second video depending on if people wanted it. You know, tell me in the comments below. If not, there's a ton of other videos that are already out that have similar combo lines that I'm going to show. But there aren't some combo lines that I have mentioned that I haven't seen in a video. Like, for example, Branded Beast. Nobody ever talks about the fact that at the end phase it can set a branded continuous spell or trap card from the graveyard onto the field. So if you hard draw a branded in white, you can send a branded regain to the graveyard via Albion or Saronir, and then you can set this face up on the field with Lubellion, and at the end phase you get this and regained, and you still have the branded in white. So, you know, there's combo lines that people don't talk about that, you know, there's only so much time in a YouTube video, but there's so much stuff that people don't talk about. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below what you think, and I will see you guys later. Peace.